UFC 304, Edwards versus Mohammed 2 just took place, and I'm going to go through the entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event, giving my reaction and breakdown to every single fight on the card, starting with the early prelim opener of Shaunna Bannon versus the woman she fought against. I didn't even watch it. I watched it somewhat. I know that at least Ardelean got some takedowns early, but Shaunna Bannon was like doing the most pathetic sidekick I've seen, and it was working for her. And then she would run forward like Juliana Pena against Amanda Nunes in their rematch, and that would also work for her. So it worked for her all the way to a decision win. Good job, Shaunna Bannon. Picked her to win. She got it done. Now we move on. Mick Parkin. Another heavyweight gets Parkined on his route of destruction to the top of the heavyweight division. At this point, chat, you have to rate that he's doing it clearly. I know we make fun of the big tubby heavyweights, and Parkin is a level above them. I don't know if that means he's going to go on to be a top contender. I don't think it is, in all honesty. I really don't. But it's definitely going to separate him from the rest of the pack. And at heavyweight, that can get you into the top 10 pretty easily. Like, I could see Mick Parkin being the new Spivak or the new Tybura on the block. You know what I'm saying? Once they're gone, I can see Parkin taking that job and being like the guy that floats between number 6 and number 10 in the division. I think Mick Parkin looked good. Got a great first round KO. If he keeps getting finishes like that, maybe I will actually rate him a lot higher than I actually just said, because normally he doesn't get finishes, and he hasn't had a finish in the UFC yet. Although he did have a lot on the regional scene. He hasn't had one in the UFC yet. Beat Pogues, won that very clearly. Beat Machado, had a pretty close fight with him, to be fair. Usman, similar situation, pretty close, but he won it quite clearly, in my opinion. And in this one, he just destroyed Brzeski. So I think it's time for Mick Parkin to get himself a ranked opponent at heavyweight. Some people might say it's a little bit too soon, but I'm looking at names. I'm looking at names in the heavyweight division. I'm looking at big names for Mick Parkin to fight. And I think there's lots of them that are options for him. Now, of course, there's the old, Marcos Rodrigo de Lima, which might be a tricky one, but might be one that he ends up getting because he's ranked. There's also Derek Lewis. There's Taito Ivasa. There's, he's got a fight coming up soon against Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Maybe the winner of that one is in a position to fight Mick Parkin. But at some point, Mick Parkin has got to get some respect and has got to get a chance in the rankings. They're probably going to do him versus Marcos Rodrigo de Lima. And if he beats him, he's quite impressive. Great win by Mick Parkin. Landed a good right hand. Followed up. Finished off Lukasz Brzeski. Was getting tagged a little bit early. But then when he found his timing, he got it done. Parkin has a really good chin at heavyweight as well. I've seen him take some big shots. And he don't even seem fazed by him. So, insane chin for the heavyweight division. We move on to another fight up the card. Which was... I can't remember what it was, guys. I think it was Sam Patterson versus Keifer Crosbie. That's my guess. And that was the fight. Sam Patterson got the job done. First round submission. There's not much to say about this. I said it going into this. Keifer Crosbie does not belong in the UFC. I've said it. Certain fighters just happen to be there, and I have no idea why. Keifer Crosbie's one of these fighters. He made a bit of a name for himself by beating a reality TV star in a Misfits-type kingpin boxing match. So he had a bit of name value from that because he was a bit of a loudmouth, and of course he has connections to McGregor, and that's going to go a long way when it comes to getting the attention of Dana White. But the guy's awful. Landed a couple decent shots, and then Patterson got him down, submitted him. No submission defense, no takedown defense. Shouldn't be in the UFC. Get rid of him. Like, seriously, get rid of him. Make way for, look how long it took them to fucking sign Jordan Vucenic, and now he's fighting Garam Kutseledze in his debut, upper weight class on short notice. And you got Crosbie around. Get rid of him. We move on. Great win from Patterson. He got the job done. Big Jack Shaw stays undefeated at welterweight. That's definitely his division. We move on. Modestas Bukauskas versus Marcin Prachnio now. First fight I got wrong on the card. Marcin Prachnio lost. Modestas Bukauskas won the fight in the third round by submission. I think this was also an arm triangle. It didn't even look like Modestas had the good angle for it. We saw another arm triangle attempt up the card, which I might get to soon, which wasn't able to be finished because they just didn't have the angle for it. It took a long time to get the arm triangle finish. But Modestas got it done against Prachnio because Prachnio threw away a win because he didn't want to win. Only way I can describe it. Modestas had good moments in round 1, but Prachnio landed some good shots, but Modestas caught him. In round 2, Modestas actually caught him again and knocked him off balance. It wasn't given an official knockdown, but he got him off balance. And then as he rushed in, Modestas thought he was a lot more hurt than he was, and Prachnio actually head kicked him as he was going in looking for a finish, wobbling Modestas. But then basically what Marcin Prachnio did, and this is what a lot of UFC fighters do, Prachnio basically went, oh no, I'm getting a finish. I better be a retard and shoot for a takedown against a cage and throw it all away. And let me go for a silly takedown with no balance on my left leg and get thrown on bottom position and lose. Like, it's just one of those things, a finish, and then they shooting for a takedown. This is why, you know McGregor's training where people are like, the other guy's not throwing back, he's letting him tee off on him. It's kind of good to build your finishing instincts. Israel Adesanya does this. Dan Hooker did it. Remember when they train drilling ground and pound heavy shots on like a wobbled opponent that's just gone down? They train getting a hold of him and landing follow-up shots to get a finish. And they block it all with their big gloves. So they don't take as much damage, but they still get hit. And you see Dan Hooker going hard on him. I feel like we need to see that a lot more in training. We need to train like someone mimic could get him rocked, and then you go in for the kill on them. Because some of these guys have no idea what they're doing once they see a wobbled opponent. So Modestas won it. Prachnio fumbled it. Wobbled him again in the 3rd round and did the same fucking thing. Shot in. Oh no, I nearly won. And then threw away the win. Good job. I had Prachnio. Thought it was a great underdog pick. It is what it is. We move on. Oban Elliott versus Preston Parsons. Oban Elliott got it done. I didn't think Oban Elliott was going to get this one done. And I'm actually starting to be relatively surprised by Oban Elliott, because the way I saw it was this. Preston Parsons has a legit wrestling background. He can wrestle, and he's good on the feet as well, and he's only ever been KO'd by the Mike Perry, okay? But he's actually looked good in the UFC so far in his career, and he's made some pretty competitive decisions with some decent fighters. And Oban Elliott has made some pretty competitive decisions with some not so decent fighters. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to go with Preston Parsons, but Oban won the fight. And he won it close, very close. There were some rounds where he didn't do much, but I thought he at least got 2 of them. I can't exactly remember what 2 of them he got, but his grappling was amazing. And I think a lot of the reason why they actually gave him the win was because he was pressuring a lot, and he was getting his jab out there and his 1-2. That came along in the 3rd round a lot more. And his takedown defense was insane in this fight. I didn't think it was going to be. Now, I just saw him as, I know he's got grappling, I completely understand, but I think Welsh people, and I'm not just saying this because I'm part Welsh, but I think Welsh people start their career, I'm not joking you, with +10 in their grappling stats. I have no idea how, but they seem to make up the difference on these American guys a lot quicker than some of the rest of the UK guys do, like from England and Scotland and Ireland and all this and all that. These guys seem to make up the difference very quickly. And that's impressive. Him and Jack Shaw have done the same thing. And Oban Elliott showed some really good scrambles, some good entries of his own, got his own takedowns, or a takedown, stuffed 8 of Preston Parsons' takedowns, only got with 1 of them, and I think he popped right back up. So good job by Oban Elliott. We move on up the card. Mohammed Mokaev versus Manel Cap. So this one's interesting because now I know that Manel Cap has been cut from the UFC. So it adds a little bit of a different tone to this. I think Mokaev wasn't cut from the UFC because he won the fight boringly. I don't think that was the reason. Maybe the pulling down of the trousers trying to get a look at Manel Cap's bum would have. By the way, very haram. I want 9 prayers tonight, Mokaev, to rid yourself of that haramness. Either way, not behavior I expected out of Mohammed Mokaev, I'll be honest with you guys. But wasn't quite on his Dean. I need to stop. Mokaev, I think he got cut because I just saw a video of him admitting. It's a shit fight. We'll get to it. Just saw a video of him on Twitter admitting on MMA Junkie that he did lure Cap in for a picture and then jump him with his team. You're cut from the UFC. Well done. Fucking idiot. Why would you admit that, you fucking idiot? He's bragging up there as well in the post-fight speech. Of course I did that. I'm not going to let myself be bullied. He lured Cap in for a picture, punched him, and then his whole team jumped Cap. Maybe that's what broke Cap's toe. Maybe Cap's toe was like compromised going in, and that's why just by stepping on it, it fucking snapped. Because, I don't know, I think that's why Dana White cut him. But Mohammed Mokaev did Mohammed Mokaev shit. So in terms of the fight, I feel like it was Mokaev landing iffy shots in round 1 that weren't really doing anything. Like inside low kicks that would land with toes and body kicks that would land with toes and stuff like that. And nothing really too clean. And then Cap caught him with one good shot at the end of the round. So people say, Cap should win that. But I do think that Mokaev did land some okay body kicks. And was doing more for the majority of the round. Cap really wasn't doing that much. And then he broke his toe. And I was like, oh God, here we go. He's going to lose. And then after he broke his toe, he was very clearly hobbling around the cage. Not able to put weight on that foot. And not able to spring off of it. Not able to twist on it into punches or into kicks. And even when he scrambled sometimes, he looked a little bit unsure of it. And he sort of lost his footing sometimes in round 2. This is why he got taken down. And Mokaev still couldn't do anything in terms of damage to him as a human being. I know Cap didn't do anything. And honestly, Cap had an embarrassing performance. But I'm seeing his toe hanging off. And I'm thinking, well, there's a reason. It's right there. He can't push off his right foot. He can't twist on his right foot. So you've disabled punches aggressively. A lot of them. Stepping in with jabs and stuff like that. He can't do that. You know what I mean? And then he can't twist off of it to throw left kicks of any kind. Rear kicks of any kind if that foot's forward. If that foot's backward, he can't push off of it into straight right hands. So he was kind of messed up, to be honest with you, or his toe was going to be gone, because even in the midway point between the second and third, the doctor came in asking, okay, if it gets worse, we're going to call this off. So he had to be careful not to do a movement that would lose his toe and then have the fight called off. Mokaev still did fucking nothing to him. Third round, he arguably got out-damaged by Cap's elbows off bottom. And then let's talk about the fouls. Mokaev eye-poked him. Continued afterwards. It was an eye-poke, by the way. Groin shotted him. Tried to pull his fucking trousers down. John Jones. Keep it in the bedroom. What are we doing? I don't understand. It was a terrible fight, though. Terrible performance from both of them. Mokaev's cut from the UFC. Mokaev's cut from the UFC, and Manel Cap is on thin ice, I would imagine. To say the very fucking least, Manel Cap is on thin ice. And, yeah, Cap's going to have to win people back, because you can't talk all that and then have a really low output performance. But again, he had a reason. Mokaev had no reason to be that boring. Why are you that boring every time? It's insane. Anyway, Mokaev got the decision. No one cares. See you later. We move on. Jake Hadley, above Mokaev on the card. This is how you know they're doing maybe entertainment-based matchmaking. But again, this wasn't a great, crazy, fun fight either. It was a lot better than Mokaev versus Cap. So it actually probably got lucky that a boring fight such a boring fight, the level of Mokaev versus Cap, was before it. Because Hadley Loughran, even though it wasn't that fun, it seemed a lot more fun in comparison to what just happened before, which was nothing for 15 minutes. Jake Hadley beat him. I thought Loughran was going to win this, because I'm like, Hadley's losing. And now it seems like, when I look at like, why is someone taking this fight? UFC 304. It's in Manchester. He wanted to fight in the UK. He's from Brum. It's not really a hometown thing for him. But I was thinking like, this is an emotional, I'm going to show him who's boss type of performance. You know what I mean? He's on a 2-fight losing streak. He takes this on like just over a week's notice, I think it was, against Loughran. Already a big like meathead bantamweight Vittori, essentially, in terms of how dense the fucking guy is. Jake Hadley beat him. Schooled him, I thought. Very technical. Loughran had moments. Couldn't really do much with takedowns. Hadley worked his way back up there. Wasn't expecting that. But yeah, the reason why I picked against Hadley here was because I was like, God, this seems like a desperate all or nothing, back against the wall, no preparation risk that is going to backfire up a weight class. But he pulled it off. So good job, Jake Hadley. He missed weight, but he did take the fight on a week's notice. So, you know, Dana's a little bit more lenient with that type of stuff. He can understand it a bit more. It is crazy that he's missing weight up a weight class. Fat fuck. Either way, takes one to know one. Loughran just wasn't technical enough. He just didn't have the straight punches. Hadley was hitting him with body shots and going like that, like pointing at it and saying, yeah, you felt that body shot I just hit you with. And Loughran was just sort of walking in like this. His head doesn't move without his upper body. Like, he's literally like he's in a Like he's got a metal pole stapled to the back of his head and then also the back of his tailbone. And he just walks around like that. It's a really strange style. And Hadley was a little bit more fluid. You know what I'm saying? So it was working a lot better for him, even on the back foot. We move on. Molly McCann versus Bruna Brasil. Tough one for Molly McCann because I feel like she threw away some moments where there could have been a change of momentum. But round one was dominant for Bruna Brasil. She beat the shit out of Molly McCann. I mean, you just got to call it how it is. Body shots, nasty. Catching her with knees. I actually thought she hurt Molly before the knee with a regular body kick because I saw Molly hunch over a little bit. And then the knee hit her on top of that. So Molly is tough for like toughing out those body shots because they do shut you down. And she was standing up to a lot of them despite very clearly being hurt to the body. So rate that. But what I don't rate is the rush of getting to certain positions on the ground in scrambles that would throw away position for her. I can't remember exactly what it was, but in rounds 2 and 3, she would find a way to get into a good position in the grappling. And then I'd find her like tossing herself off of top position, going for the next position. You got to stay where you are sometimes in grappling and lock that down. And then once you've locked that down, then you can think about moving to the next position. A lot of these fighters try and rush. I've got to get to this. Okay, now I'm going to submit her from here and get this from here. And then you've thrown yourself off top and now you're on bottom for the rest of the round against Bruna Brasil. Now in round 3, Molly did have some moments where she landed some good shots, but eventually again ended up on bottom. Scrambles. She wasn't winning the 50-50s. She was falling off of top position. So it was just a lack of positional lockdown from Molly in the second and third round and a lack of stand-up options in the first. One thing I was surprised about here is I thought Molly was moving down her division, so she's going to be big for the division. Bruna Brasil was massive and Molly's shorter than her by far, and she's got to try and tighten her way in to knees, which is tough. So good job, Bruna Brasil. Molly McCann loses again, but probably for the best. Fight some lower level comp, get paid. She's already on a good contract. It is what it is. Nathaniel Wood, Daniel Pineda. I went with Nathaniel Wood. And he nearly fumbled it again. Nathaniel Wood. Nearly fumbled again, mate. You can't fucking help yourself but not get a finish, can you, mate? So fucking annoying watching a Nathaniel Wood fight. Because I root for him because he's been wronged throughout his career. He fought Daniel Pineda, by the way. A roid cheat. Don't know why he's in the UFC. He's tested positive multiple times outside of the UFC. He's been banned and had entire tournament results overturned at PFL for testing positive for performance-enhancing drugs. And he's just in the UFC now. Like, nothing is going on, which is interesting. But big dude for the division. Nathaniel Wood was out low-kicking him early. He's going to out low-kick everyone, even though Pineda landed his own. Wood hurt him to the body in round 1. Now, Wood has this very funny habit that he does, Nathaniel Wood, where he hurts someone and then just happens to end up in full guard for 3 minutes against them. Now, it's annoying me that he does this because he did it again in round 3 or 2. I think it was round 2 because he actually lost round 3 on bottom position, which was fine because he knew he had won the first 2, so he didn't really rush getting back up and risking getting dash choked or guillotined, which is what Pineda was going for in the third. Nathaniel Wood hurt him to the body in round 1, which gives him round 1 on damage because he's hurt him and nearly finished him. Stand back up, brother. Kick him to the fucking... I need Khalil Roundtree to do a tour of gyms and just teach him how to kick a motherfucker on the ground to the body. You hurt someone to the body, we're following up with headshots. We need to follow up with another body shot, okay? Straight one more, and that's it. They're done, okay? You're in full guard on top now for 3 fucking minutes, Nathaniel. And this happens a lot in your fights, okay? You hurt someone and you fumble it, okay? In round 2, you hurt him bad, drop him bad, and then you rush in, and it's like, no! He's rushing in, hooking, trading back and forth, and Pineda's catching him. That's when you go to the low kicks. Front kick to the body. Stab the front kick to the body after that. When you rock a guy on the feet and you've got him waiting up against the cage, like, twitching at you, reactionary, like, I'm going to land. You're going to throw something, I'm going to throw back. Ooh! Front kick to the body. Ooh! Low kick. You know what I mean? That's when you move, that's when you bring it back to the technical stuff, and then you find the KO blow. But he won the first 2 rounds. He's a treat to watch on the feet. You can't deny that. You watch a Nathaniel Wood fight, you will say, wow, that's something that he does in terms of technical striking. He had Pineda's right hook figured out the whole fight, dipping under it, moving out the way. Great performance by Nathaniel Wood in the first 2 rounds, but he fumbles finishes. and ends up in full guard on top of opponents far too much. And he needs to stop that because he has finishing potential at featherweight, which is rare. It actually is rare. A lot of featherweight fights go to a decision. But he does have finishing potential and he's undersized. So he needs that finishing potential. That's something he needs to hone for his future fights. We move on to the main card. Arnold Allen versus Giga Chikadze. Oh, Arnold, dude. What a feel-good moment that was when his hand got raised, because I was worried that maybe he would have lost the second round in a very close round. But they gave him the second round. I actually gave him the second round because I thought he landed the better shots and he actually caused some bleeding on the nose of Giga Chikadze. He was bashing the nose in of Giga Chikadze quite a bit with straight lefts, and he was going to the body a lot with big straight shots to the body that were like clearly affecting Giga. He was hunched over after a few of them, backing up. So I thought Arnold Allen won, but I did think round 2 was close. But he outlanded Giga in round 2. But Giga was busy and he threw a lot of stuff at the end of the round, like kicks and knees and stuff like that. I thought Giga won the first. I think no one was in doubt about that other than Faraz Sahabi, who told Arnold Allen that he was up 2-0, but to act like it's 1-1. Crazy. Never told him to shoot a takedown either. Crazy. Crazy corner work from Faraz. Awful. One thing Arnold did do, though, is circle to the outside of Giga's lead foot, which took away his rear kick, which is his most dangerous weapon. And whenever Giga would switch stances, then Arnold would start circling the other way. And it was just a game of that. Giga switched, his right leg's back. Okay, we're circling to our right the entire time. It was a good game plan by Arnold. He has really good game plan and intention-based footwork that really helps him a lot in fights. But Arnold Allen, dude. Great performance. Third round was dominant. He was breaking Giga. I think if there were a 4th and 5th, he would have broken him and got a finish. But Arnold did it. Arnold Allen did it, guys. What a great win. Shout out to my nan. It's her birthday as well. Autism. Love it. Innocence. It's great. Sometimes you need a little autism in the game. And Aspinall's bringing that aplenty. Okay? Or not Aspinall, fucking hell. Arnold Allen's bringing that aplenty. Okay, you got plenty of tism to go round, and it's fun to watch. It's good. You always root for Arnold Allen, and he pulled it off. It would have been sad to see Arnold go from a 9-0 win streak at featherweight to all of a sudden being 0-3 by like really close, controversial decisions. So happy that he won. Straight shots were great. Body shots were money. Really good performance by Arnold. Wasn't the best, but Giga is dangerous, and he did a pure stand-up fight with him. So he took the path of most resistance with Giga Chikadze, and he won. I think that's quite impressive, seeing as Giga put away Edson on the feet. Good job, Arnold Allen. I picked him to win. He got the job done. And, yeah, straight back to top contenders for Arnie. We move on. Gregory Rodriguez versus Christian Leroy Duncan. Now, a lot of people had Christian Leroy Duncan here, but I had Gregory Rodriguez because I've watched Christian Leroy Duncan a lot. I watched him a lot on the regional scene, because he came up in Cage Warriors, and I was actually watching him because I was paying attention to the career of someone that's going to be on the Contender Series soon called Will Curry. It's a UK fighter called Will Curry, and he had a late stoppage or an early as fuck stoppage against Christian Leroy Duncan that was bullshit, and they ended up running it back, and he lost the rematch. So I was like, oh, let me find out who this Christian Leroy Duncan guy is, and I started paying attention. He was really good, but takedown defense ain't the best. And Gregory can grapple. A lot of people see him as a bruiser on the feet, like trying to take people out. And he did do that in this fight. But he also mixed in grappling. He shot 12 takedowns. I like that. That's a smart man. He knows he needs to. He did it 12 fucking times. You know? He did it 12 times. That's great. Got 4 of them. 8 minutes of control time. And he did work. Beating up on Christian Leroy Duncan. I'm very surprised Christian did not get destroyed on the feet or knocked out. In round 2, there were many moments where Gregory would land a shot and you were like, oh my God, how is CLD taking these shots? Even follow-up ones, like he got dropped off balance, and then as he's getting back up, Gregory has shovel hooked him again in the side of the head, and he's still there trying to figure it out. So CLD was close. He got close with a few techniques, but Gregory was just a little bit better than him in the boxing, a little bit more harder hitting, and his chin held up. Normally Gregory's a bit chinny, but I don't think CLD has that one-punch knockout power. So with the grappling mixed in, it was a dominant win for Gregory Rodriguez. Great performance from him. We move on. Up the card, Bobby Green versus Paddy Pimblett. King Green. Robert Green. All right, mate? Robert Green III. All right, mate? Then you go fucking changing that name. But respect to Bobby Green. I like Bobby Green. I do like Bobby Green as a fighter, but he came up against 22-3 Paddy Pimblett. Stop acting like he's shit at fighting, please. He's 22-3 as a lightweight pro fighter. You guys, before the Pimblett interview, people said, oh, you're just picking him because you did an interview with him. But even in the build-up and before it, I was saying, like, Paddy can win this. He's not that bad. I always said he broke his first, in the first round, he broke his foot against Jared Gordon. And nobody gives him anything for that. You lost to Jared Gordon, that's the best he'll ever be. He looked awful. He broke his foot in the first few minutes of that fight and still made it close with Jared Gordon. Nasrat ain't break shit and lost to Jared Gordon, somehow got given the win. Nasrat didn't break anything in that fight. Like, he's better than these unranked lightweights just by being able to make it close with Gordon on one foot. That was very impressive to me. And Bobby Green shot a takedown. Now, I see a lot of people saying, I'm not doing the lot of people thing that he does. Lukasz Tracy said he shot, why did he shoot a takedown? Why did he shoot a takedown? I do think that he thought about the idea of a takedown, but I think he committed to it the way he did because he got knocked off balance with the inside low kick. That's what I think. I saw Lukasz saying that. I saw his reaction on a clip. Shout out to the Muzz or whatever his name is. Big Muzz, whatever it is. And I saw a lot of people on Twitter like, why would Bobby shoot a takedown? I saw some people saying rigged. It is what it is. It looked like Bobby went to maybe try out an idea of a grappling event of like, I'm going to try and sort of mix this in, but not really commit to it so much to where I get put in a guillotine. And then Pimblett threw an inside low kick at the same time. And then Bobby Green sort of, oh, fuck, I have to commit. I've been put to the ground by this inside low kick. And he's going to have top position anyway. So he had to sort of try and come back up on a single leg and really jumped in to commit to it. But I don't think he would have committed that hard to the takedown if he didn't get knocked off balance by the inside low kick. It seemed like he sort of went for a semi-reach at a single leg from a distance, and he got hit with the inside low kick and went, fuck it, I'm going for this to try and get back up or try and get a takedown. And then Pimblett got a guillotine, and then Pimblett used that guillotine to get his leg, his right leg, above Bobby Green's left shoulder as he had him in this guillotine. And he used that to let go of the guillotine and used that leg to set up his triangle on the other side, which cinched up in about a second. He had the triangle cinched up. Then he did every adjustment he needed. Not all of this. You see a lot of people getting triangles. They sit there and they wait like, why aren't you tapping? Because the guy's not going out. He realized Bobby Green wasn't going out yet. So he thought, okay, I'll try this. I'll try pulling down on my knee. I'll try closing the gap this way. I'll try twisting to my side and getting a bit of a sharper squeeze on this triangle. I'll hook the leg of Bobby Green, he ended up doing. Hooking the leg and getting even a better angle on that. Then he got him really sort of cramped up. So Bobby Green's got no space to breathe and sort of stack on top of Paddy Pimblett in any way. So he had him all crumpled up. And then he turned it into an armbar. And Bobby Green was arguably already out before the armbar started getting put in. But I like that from Pimblett. Wicked jiu-jitsu. And he transitioned. He didn't just go, this is the submission and I want this. He was like, no, I'll transition between submissions if I need to. And it was a really good display of BJJ. So, and also, I'm going to say this as well. A lot of people were saying, oh, Bobby Green was winning and then he lost. He was stomping at the leg of Paddy Pimblett. Not much else. Pimblett landed good low kicks, a good jab on the chin of Bobby Green as well. And then he finished him. Great win by Paddy Pimblett. Called out Renato Moicano in his post-fight speech. I'm all for that massively. You know I'm big with, I'm big on Big Money Moicano. Big fan. So I'd love to see that matchup. Paddy Pimblett, Bobby Green, sick fight. We move on. Up the card. Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blaydes. Aspinall destroys him in a minute. Calls out John Jones. Now, Blaydes was doing good. Let me see the numbers here. Blaydes landed 5 shots. All right. Well, Blaydes was landing a few shots. Didn't seem like they were landing clean. I bet you if you went back and recounted those, it maybe come down to about 2 or 3. But he did land on Tom. And he was throwing very hard early. And again, Tom threw himself into the fire in this fight. He could have been Mr. Patient Aspinall on the outside, looking for low kicks and then pouncing in when he needs to. But he did a lot, and maybe this is just his game plan against Blaydes. He did a lot of pushing him backwards here and going into the danger. And that is what Pavlovich did. So maybe that's what he learned it from. And he stepped in with a power jab that dropped Blaydes, which is what Pavlovich did as well. So he dropped Blaydes with a power jab. I thought he dropped him with the right hand over the top afterwards, but he didn't end up landing. But he dropped Blaydes with a jab. And then Blaydes ate 15 follow-up shots in 5 seconds. Went out a few times. Like he went from slightly being off the canvas to face down on the canvas, then back up, then face down, and then back up again. And then because Mark Goddard, could it have gone on a little bit longer? That much longer from Tom, and then all of a sudden everyone would be okay with it? Maybe. I don't know why people are complaining about that stoppage. You can't get dropped at heavyweight and then lay there and not improve your position whatsoever for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All in that time, Aspinall's hitting at a rate of So it's different at heavyweight, especially after Goddard just watched you get dropped. I get early. I want to see them die as well. It's fun, but I don't see the point in saying it when it wouldn't have had any effect. People are saying early stoppage like Aspinall would have lost if they let that go on and Blaydes would have made his way back into the fight. Like Jones fans, gay people are really coping around the world right now. And I guess fans of wife beaters are really coping because they just let John do that, I guess. I know it's a weird one, innit? It's a weird situation with the Jones fan base, but Tom Aspinall dusts up Curtis Blaydes. He will be fighting John Jones. He will destroy John Jones when he does fight him eventually as well, because he's better than John Jones. And if John Jones has something to say about that, come and fight Tom Aspinall. Be the backup opponent at UFC, whatever it will be, Tom, when Jones fights that poor old man, Stipe Miocic. Be the backup opponent, put pressure on John, and hopefully we can get that fight in 2025. And that'll make me very happy. So I'm very happy with Tom's fight. Got close, nearly got clipped a few times, but he rolls with shots, which other heavyweights don't do. I feel like every other heavyweight meets shots chin first, whereas Tom rolls with them very well. Takes a lot of steam off them. So good job by Tom. Dusted up Curtis Blaydes. We move on up the card. Leon Edwards, Belal Muhammad. Leon, let it slip. Belal did what he did and won the fight because of it. I'm not going to say Leon lost this. Belal won it, but Edwards threw away some key moments where he could have maybe tried to get it back because Belal was breaking him. Belal broke him. One head kick doesn't mean you have this dog in you and crazy heart. We then find out. You know what I mean? JDM's crazy heart. Anything it takes, scrambles immediately to the knee, all the follow-up shots he needs. One head kick don't mean you got a dog in you. And I think we learned that today because there were times where Leon Edwards had an opportunity to go all out JDM on Belal. He would reverse a position at the end of the round, and it was time. Belal's done 0 damage. That's what he does. 0 damage to you on the ground. He's landed some good shots on the feet. This is your chance. Get some big shots off. Try and get this round back. He never did that until round 5. In some of the other rounds where he would reverse position and get on top, he just lay there. 40 seconds would go by at the end of a round of Edwards trying to lock up one hook in on the back and control time at the end of a round that he's just lost 4 minutes of. It was very strange to watch Edwards do that, but that is a problem that Edwards does. He's dumb. He's very dumb, and he does make a lot of mistakes in the grappling. We even saw it against Covington when he was jumping for arm bars and going for the back and ended up on bottom. He spent the whole 5th round on bottom against Covington. So Belal Muhammad wins. He had good jab, good uppercut. Everything else he did was awful on the feet. But a decent body kick here and there didn't hurt. He's awful. I think he's technically very awful. I think he's exploitable for sure. Like, someone's going to put him away easily. But we don't know who it is yet because he's weirdly strong, picking up people at welterweight like that multiple times in a round if he needs to. And since Belal Muhammad, whoever that guy is that came into Belal Muhammad's gym and told him you should start doing push-ups and sit-ups, that made him double in muscle mass, double in head size, and get veins all over his body that Bradley Martin would be fucking jealous of. Whoever did that, respect, because they changed the fucking game for Belal Muhammad. So, but other than that, Belal showed great heart. Belal showed great grit, good determination, smart IQ, going for takedowns when he needed them at the end of close rounds. Smart stuff. It's not even smart stuff. It's just not dumb stuff. and keeping control of positions that he needed to. He spent a lot of time on bottom in round 3, having his back taken. Not on bottom, but he had his back taken in round 3. But when he had his moment, and he got it done. So good job, Belal Muhammad. Nearly got finished at the end of the 5th. Won the belt in true Belal Muhammad fashion. But he won. And they needed a win right now. I'm not going to say the name of them because YouTube demonetizes me when I did. I just did it for the fucking full fight breakdown of Belal versus Edwards. And they demonetized the fucking video. So for the people that Belal represents, they needed that win. And he got the win. So good job for him. Belal Muhammad gets it done. Leon Edwards loses his belt. And I think it's going to be tough moving forward because I don't know how he matches up against the rest of the division. Shavkat's there, JDM's there. I reckon you do JDM Shavkat, leave Belal out for a bit, no one cares anyway, and then have a sick fight between JDM and Shavkat, 2 savage Western warriors ready to scrap and put it all on the line. And then, even though Australia's not from the West, you know what I mean? Similar culture, Western culture, you know what I'm saying? Warrior stuff, you know? Real, let's have a fun fight type of stuff. Shavkat, JDM, sick, amazing fight, main event of a 5-round, crowded fight night, that's what I want. Or at MSG main card in the pay-per-view in November. Either or I'll take. And then you do Edwards versus Ian Gary and Usman versus like if Brady wins a fight or if Joaquin Buckley wins a big fight coming up soon. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Toodle Pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye. I think I did okay on picks. And I'm so happy about the result of the card in general. So I went 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 3-1 because Prachnio's dumb. 3-2. Oban Elliott's a G. 3-3, 3-4, 3-5, and then we brought it back. 4-5, 5-5, 6-5, 7-5, 8-6 ain't bad for a card like this. Couple weird ones to predict. See you later, guys. Toodle Pip. Goodbye.